It all starts with a tiny decision. Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, a steaming cup of coffee in hand, scrolling through your bank app. Your eyes scan the numbers again, and that familiar pang of anxiety hits. Rent is due. Groceries are piling up. The car insurance bill just came in, and what's left in your account seems laughably small. You've been trying to save, but it feels impossible. The idea of building wealth, let alone $1 million, seems like a dream for someone else. Someone richer, smarter, or luckier than you. But here's the twist. You don't have to save thousands of dollars each month to start building real wealth. In fact, starting with just $50 a month can change your life. If you stick with it, it doesn't sound glamorous. Nobody posts a viral TikTok about transferring $50 into a savings account, and it doesn't make for flashy Instagram posts. But here's the secret the wealthy often don't share. Small, consistent savings, if done right, can grow into massive wealth over time. Let's break it down. Imagine that $50 is transferred automatically into a savings or investment account every month. At first, it doesn't feel like much. One fancy coffee or weekend takeout could easily match that. But here's the thing. If you're patient and consistent, your money starts to grow. That $50 per month adds up to $600 in a year. Still, it feels modest, right? But if you invest that $600 wisely in a high-interest account or retirement fund, averaging around 7% annual growth, something magical happens. Compound interest starts working for you. Compound interest is the financial equivalent of a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's tiny, slow, almost invisible. You might think this isn't doing anything, but time is the secret ingredient. As months turn into years, your initial contributions begin earning interest. Then the interest itself earns interest, and the growth accelerates. Over decades, what seemed insignificant at first turns into something substantial. Here's a visualization to make it clearer. After 10 years of saving $50 a month with a 7% annual return, your balance will be roughly $8,500. After 20 years, it climbs to about $23,000. After 30 years, it surpasses $55,000. And if you continue the same habit until retirement, your account could easily exceed $1 million. This is a hypothetical scenario. It's simple math and patience. The key is starting early and letting time do the heavy lifting. The lesson here goes beyond numbers. Saving isn't about depriving yourself or living a life of scarcity. It's about creating a system that works for you, even in small increments. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to a dedicated savings or investment account. Treat it like a non-negotiable bill, something that leaves your account before you even notice it. If you never see it, you won't miss it, and it quietly grows in the background while your life moves forward. Mindset is everything. Most people focus on how much they can't save instead of appreciating the power of small, consistent contributions. They get discouraged because they aren't starting with thousands of dollars a month. But here's the truth. Wealth is rarely about huge windfalls. It's about consistency, strategy, and patience. Each small deposit is a brick in the foundation of your financial future. Every month that you save, even just $50, is a vote for the life you want decades from now. Let's take a moment to imagine a slightly different scenario. Two people, same age, same income. One decides they can't afford to save anything. They focus on the bills, the rent, the car payments, the coffee, and the occasional splurge. Life goes on, and so does their bank balance. Stagnant, unchanged, and eventually disappointing. The other person decides to set aside $50 a month. At first, the balance barely grows. But over time, that small amount begins to snowball. Interest is earned on top of interest, and the account grows steadily. Decades later, the first person is still struggling, while the second is financial freedom, security, choices, and peace of mind. The difference isn't luck or a higher salary. It's starting small and staying consistent. This chapter isn't just about numbers. It's about perspective. Every tiny decision matters. Every month you save is a step forward, no matter how small. The journey may feel slow at first, but that's the point. Time is the most powerful tool in building wealth. The earlier you start, the more dramatic the results. In the next chapter, we'll meet real people who followed this simple principle. They started with just $50 a month, and decades later, found themselves financially free. These stories will show that it's not about luck or income. It's about discipline, strategy, and the patience to let small actions compound into life-changing results. By the end, you'll see that building wealth isn't a dream reserved for privileged. It's achievable for anyone willing to take that tiny first step. If Chapter 1 was about understanding the power of tiny savings, Chapter 2 is about seeing it in action. Numbers and graphs are one thing, but real people bring these concepts to life. Let's meet a few individuals who started small, stayed consistent, and ended up changing their financial destiny. Proof that it's not luck, timing, or income that matters most. Take Sarah, for example. Sarah was 25, working a full-time job in Chicago, earning $45,000 a year. She lived in a modest apartment, paid her bills on time, and still struggled to make ends meet. She dreamed of financial freedom, but thought it was out of reach. Wealth, she believed, was for the wealthy, or for those who inherited money or had high-paying jobs. Saving even a little seemed impossible, and the idea of one day having $1 million felt like a fantasy. Then one evening, Sarah read a simple article about compound interest. The concept was straightforward. Start small, stay consistent, let time do the work. Skeptical but inspired, she decided to give it a try. She set up an automatic transfer of $50 every month into a retirement account. That's it. No massive lifestyle changes, no skipping meals, no extreme budgeting, just a small, consistent habit. At first, the growth was almost imperceptible. The first few years, she barely noticed a difference, but she didn't quit. Over a decade, her account balance climbed to roughly $8,500. Not life-changing yet, but enough to prove that her small effort was working. By her 40s, that same $50 a month habit, combined with smart investment choices, had grown to over $120,000. By the time she reached 60, she was financially secure, debt-free, and had more freedom than she ever imagined. Then there's Mark, a father of two living in Dallas, Texas. Mark earned a modest income and had never thought much about saving. One day, he realized that if he didn't take action, retirement could be stressful and uncertain. He decided to save just $25 a month. Yes, only $25. His co-workers laughed, calling it a drop in the ocean, but Mark ignored the noise. Over the years, that $25 per month, combined with compounding returns from a simple investment account, grew steadily. By age 50, he had over $300,000 in his account. The small habit didn't feel like sacrifice, but became the foundation for long-term financial security. Mark often tells his friends, "You don't need a huge salary to get rich. You just need patience and a system that works." Now let's look at Lisa, a school teacher from Denver. She started saving $75 a month in her 20s while juggling student loans and living expenses. Early on, she wondered if it was worth it. What difference could $75 a month make? But she stayed disciplined. 10 years later, she was surprised to see her account had grown to nearly $10,000, and the momentum was just beginning. By the time she retired, Lisa had more than $1.2 million. Her secret? Consistency and time. The early sacrifices, the tiny monthly contributions, they added up to life-changing wealth over decades. What do Sarah, Mark, and Lisa have in common? They didn't have extraordinary incomes. They didn't inherit money. They didn't rely on luck. Their success came from tiny, repeated actions over time. They understood a principle many overlook. The earlier you start, the more you benefit from compound growth. Even the smallest contribution matters. Let's do a quick mental experiment. Imagine two people, same age, same income. One saves $50 a month starting at age 25. The other delays saving until age 35 and then tries to catch up by contributing $100 per month. At first glance, doubling the savings seems smart. But here's the twist. The first person ends up with more money at retirement simply because their contributions had more time to grow and compound. Time, not the size of the deposit, is the real multiplier. Another lesson from these real-life examples: small wins build confidence. Saving just a little shows you that you can control your financial future. It's empowering. It changes your mindset from scarcity to growth. The person who starts with $50 a month eventually finds ways to increase it. Maybe it's a bonus, a tax refund, or a small raise. Every extra contribution accelerates the growth. Consistency also beats intensity. Many people try to save huge amounts in short bursts, only to burn out and give up. The secret is sustainable habits. $50 a month might not feel like much, but it's something you can do forever. And forever is exactly what allows compounding to turn tiny savings into serious wealth. These stories show that building financial security isn't about extremes. It's about taking small, manageable steps, sticking with them, and trusting the process. It's about understanding that wealth isn't magic. It's math applied over time. In the next chapter, we'll break down practical strategies to make the system work for you. You'll learn how to automate your savings, select the right investment vehicles, and avoid the pitfalls that cause many people fail. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap for turning your tiny monthly savings into your own million-dollar success story. Because here's the truth. If Sarah, Mark, and Lisa could do it with $25, $50, or $75 a month, anyone can. You just need to start, stay consistent, and let time work its magic. By now, you've seen the power of tiny savings and met people who turn just $25, $50, or $75 a month into life-changing wealth. Sarah, Mark, and Lisa didn't rely on luck. They relied on strategy, consistency, and patience. Now it's your turn. Chapter 3 is about taking those lessons and turning them into actionable steps that anyone can follow. Let's start with the first principle. Start early. Time is your greatest ally when it comes to compound growth. The earlier you start, the smaller your monthly contribution needs to be to reach that million-dollar mark. Think of it like planting a tree. A seed takes years to grow into a towering oak. The sooner you plant it, the more time it has to mature, spread roots, and flourish. Waiting too long means you'll have to work harder, save more, or take on unnecessary risk to catch up. Next, automate your savings. Human nature is inconsistent. We spend what's in our hands, and distractions or life emergencies can derail good intentions. Automation is the simplest way to enforce discipline. Set up a monthly transfer from your checking account into a dedicated savings or investment account. Treat it like a mandatory bill, something that leaves your account before you even notice it. Even a small sum like $50 or $75 works, as long as it's consistent. But where should you put that money? This brings us to invest wisely. A regular savings account is safe, but it grows slowly. To truly leverage the power of compounding, consider options that offer higher returns, like index funds, ETFs, or retirement accounts, such as a 401k or IRA. Historically, a diversified portfolio can return an average of 6 to 8% per year. That difference, between 1% in a savings account and 7% in a well-chosen fund, can be the difference between ending up with $100,000 or $1 million over decades. Now let's talk about patience. The hardest part for most people is resisting the urge to withdraw early. It's tempting to touch your savings for emergencies or wants, but every time you do, you slow down the compounding effect. Think of your account like a snowball. Rolling it downhill without interference makes it grow faster. Withdrawals are like taking chunks out of the snowball. It slows progress and reduces long-term growth. Another strategy is incremental scaling. Your income will likely grow over time, and so should your savings. Even an extra $10 or $20 a month, paid automatically, accelerates your progress exponentially over decades. The principle is simple. Start small, but increase contributions gradually as your financial situation improves. This makes the habit sustainable and powerful without feeling like a sacrifice. Let's look at some numbers to make it concrete. Suppose you start at $25 with $50 a month, earning an average 7% annual return. By age $35, $8, $500. By age $45, $27, $000. By age $55, $75, $000. By age $65, $160, $000. If you gradually increase your monthly contribution to $150 over time, the same habit could comfortably exceed $1 million by retirement. This is the magic of time, consistency, and incremental growth. Here's a practical approach to implement this system. Choose your monthly contribution. Even $25 to $50 is enough to start. Open a dedicated investment or retirement account. Keep it separate from everyday spending. Automate the transfer. Remove the decision-making and human error from the equation. Invest wisely in a diversified portfolio. Don't chase risky schemes. Think long-term growth. Scale gradually as your income grows. Add extra when possible. Ignore the short-term noise. Markets will fluctuate, but long-term growth is consistent. Beyond numbers, there's a psychological benefit. Watching your account grow month by month, even slowly, builds confidence and reinforces discipline. Small wins compound your mind as well as your bank account. You start to see that you can control your financial future, and that mindset shift is priceless. Finally, remember that wealth isn't reserved for the elite. It's accessible to anyone who takes consistent action. The path to $1 million doesn't require huge salaries, risky investments, or miraculous windfalls. It requires a tiny first step, repeated month after month, year after year, and the patience to let time do its magic. So what's stopping you? Take that first small step today. Open your account. Set your $50 or $25 or $75 monthly transfer and commit to the journey. The process may feel slow at first. That's okay. Decades from now, you'll look back, and what seemed tiny will have transformed into financial freedom, security, and peace of mind. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. Tiny decisions today shape your future in ways you can't fully imagine yet. By starting early, automating your savings, investing wisely, staying patient, and scaling over time, you can take control of your financial destiny. The $1 million future isn't a fantasy. It's a logical result of small, consistent actions applied over time. And that's the ultimate lesson. Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. The path may be simple, but it works. It works for Sarah, Mark, Lisa, and it can work for you too. Your journey to financial freedom begins today with one tiny, deliberate decision.